All right. Mike, there we go. All right. Welcome to the Weekend AMA. I'm your host, as always, Dylan Israel. We are, for those of you who are new to the channel, what I like to do every weekend is I take about an hour and answer some questions, answer some just provide guidance, right? It's always helpful to have a developer as you're trying to become a developer answer some of your questions. That's really what this is about. And I usually start it off with a topic as people come in, and today's topic is kind of a cool one. Usually they're based on the questions and whatever people ask me or anything like that. So today is today's topic is always about innovating and trying new things as a developer. And the reason I want to talk about this is it's something I'm trying to do in my life, right? So right now, if you guys haven't noticed, I've been putting out like a 30-minute to an hour tutorial for the last 4 weeks or so. And I have a couple more planned covering various software topics and sort of introduction guides. And that's one way that I'm continuing my learning and changing up the channel. And I'm reading books for the first time and continuing to grow. And with personal projects, I think I'm gonna start diving outside of Angular since I work with it in the workplace, and maybe start picking up Vue or even React. Leaning towards Vue, but always sort of innovating, trying new things, and progressing. And it's very easy to go to what you know, right? It's very easy for me to go and continue building Angular projects. I get paid to do that. I can do it. Don't have to think about it, and that's fine. So that's a very easy thing to do. But the harder thing to do is to try new things, to learn new things, and to progress in different directions. Even if you're not going to use it in the workplace, it's going to be a skill that you're going to pick up. And so that's really what I wanted to point out is that don't be afraid to, spend a weekend, 2 weekends, a month picking up a technology that you may never use because you actually never know when it may come in handy. You know, so be willing to take those, try new things, go in different directions, and see what's out there. While still, you always have to have the practical aspect of, all right, is Pascal gonna get me a job? Maybe not. But I think you guys can weigh the pros and cons. Um, so let's see some questions. So trying new things. At my new job, I'm programming .NET after putting out for 12 years. Nice. Yeah, we do .NET at my workplace. I need to pick it up, to be honest. I need to dive into it. Great channel. Keep up the good vibes. Thank you very much, Tom. Is coding good for people who are visually creative? Yes, especially in the front end. So a lot of front end developers, they don't and I apologize if I sound like I'm a little congested. I am. I had trouble sleeping last night. But most front end devs aren't UI UX people. So you can go into UI UX, which is essentially you're designing how things are going to look and function. And then you can also have that skill carried over into front end, which is a great area for you to go into. Yeah, it's actually one of the things that I've been thinking about reaching out to one of these online boot camps that specializes in UI UX and see if they would let me attend for free, and I'll do some videos because it is an area that I do suffer in and I would like to learn. I want to fill all the gaps. Do I do any back-end stuff at work? No. I was asked to, but it just never seems like there's any time to dive into it. None of my current job. But yeah, we're a Angular and .NET shop. So yeah, innovation in what context? Innovation in your learning path, innovation in in trying new things, stepping outside the box. That could be hey, I've never gone to a hackathon before. I already have a job. I already, should I still go? Yes, you should go. Going to meetups. It could be reading a book for the very first time. It could be writing your very first blog post. Doing, contributing to open source for the first time, volunteering for these, code.org. There's a bunch of different ways that you can go and get started. Stick to one framework or try every new framework. So it depends on where you're at in your career. I personally, really, there's 3 frameworks. So there's Angular, there's React, and there's Vue. And it depends on what the jobs are in your area. I would probably pick, if React is popping off, and React seems to be, dive into React. If Angular is popping off in your area, go Angular. If Vue, go Vue. But I would say in the short term, it's probably better to focus on one, and then as you progress in your career, expand out. That would be my advice. Good morning, Justin. Yeah, so my thing is, you do one professionally and then you do one personally, and sometimes they connect. Sometimes they overlap. You're thinking about going to a 3-month boot camp? That's exciting. You can do it online, or is it in-person boot camp? TLDR is a too long, didn't read. So it's kind of it comes from like patch notes, and it comes from like, it's just like an internet term for like, this was too long, I didn't have time to read it. So the idea being that it's essentially a crash course, so you're just learning what it is. But that's the gist of it. MG Toe, it's a $10 donation. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Doesn't even say anything with it. It just says, here's my money, take it. No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for the support. But yeah, so TLDR is too long, didn't read. Like, you might see it sometimes when people on Reddit or people in the comment section write fucking essays, and someone will just be like, TLDR, we're talking about, cat poop. How can you be so passionate? So I got a nice cantaloupe carrot juice, freshly squeezed, freshly juiced juice right here. Every morning we drink fresh juice. That's one of our health choices we're making. Some are good, some are less than good, but we drink them all. God, the kale one was always so bad. Always good to give to those who deserve it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So for those of you who don't know, I'm saving to buy a house. So when you donate $10, you're buying a brick of that house. I appreciate it. It goes, I have my YouTube money from YouTube, the AdSense, go directly into an account that, into a separate account, into my separate a separate checking account where I'm going to use that to buy a house. So I appreciate that very much, though. Exactly 12 months for my graduation. What do you suggest? Oh, that I'm not giving you advice 12 months out. That is way too far out. Excuse me. I would say that look at the market, and also if what you learned was relevant to your area, try and get a job in that. What your degree is, then you'll have an easier time adjusting. I really enjoy coding, and I want to continue learning, but being in high school while playing sports makes it extremely hard. Yeah, man. I mean, we all have to make sacrifices to accomplish our goals. I know, like, when I was learning to code, I was working full time, um, you know, and I've had a part time job doing Lyft, but I still managed to put 3 4 hours a day in, and I had to say no to going out and no to spending money because I didn't have any. Also, so sometimes you have to decide what's important, and if playing sports is more important, that's okay. Um, see, that's the thing is there's no judgment about what's important to you. If it's important to you to play baseball, play football, fine. Completely understand that's where your priorities are. But I mean, you have to understand that it is a choice, and you just say, look, there's priority one is maybe school. Priority two is sports. Priority three is coding. So when you have those priorities, that's how that you just have to go in order. And it's just the reality of things. What do you think about trying new things? Personal, I think there's no problem. Absolutely, um, when trying something new. When it comes to professional, I think you have to have a very strong. Not only do I think you have to be very well versed in whatever it is you're suggesting, I think you have to be uh, um, I think you have to be. How can I put this? Not only do you have to be well versed and educated in it, I think that there has to be a very good use case. So, like, if you go into your work tomorrow and say, "Look, we're switching over. I think we should switch over from a relational database to a document based database." Why? Because there's going to be a learning curve for everybody. But if you have a good reason why and you're educated in it, then maybe you can. That's not a bad thing. If you so that's my thing is if you have a reason why and you're educated in the technology and you just don't say, "Hey, I heard in a blog post," or did you actually go and read in depth? Did you actually build something with it? And so if you're educated in it and you've worked in it, feel fine suggesting it. But just know that, they're probably going to be looking to you for guidance since it was your idea. Just don't throw something out there. Not and expect it to be fully adopted and um, uh, no one's going to question you on it. So you just have to be prepared. That's all. Swimming has been awesome for my wife and I. I know you started exercise since COVID at family time. Yeah, you know what? It's been getting hotter again in Florida, so I might start. So I was swimming last summer almost every day for like 3 4 months, and I felt really good. Um, and I'm trying to lose some weight, get some muscle back. So I might start it up again. It wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm thinking of my work to suggest from using FTP based coding version to using Git. Um, I mean, I think it was 88% of workplaces use Git or something like that. Yeah, a lot of places use it. So it's like there's Git and then there's nothing else. Basically, there's Git and then there's everybody else who's an older developer that never wanted to move to Git. That's really how it is. 2 to 4 hours daily year round. Look, I ain't doing that. I'm talking about going in there, swimming maybe 4 or 5 laps, and leaving. The smoke, it's the essential oil diffuser. I have some peppermint oil in there right now. One second, guys. I gotta blow my nose. Oh, that's better. Oh. Project ideas for Angular. I find that you should dive into at least one or two API projects when you're working in the front end. But other than that, just choose something that you enjoy. Choose a topic that you enjoy that's useful. What's up? How's life treating you? Life's pretty good, man. I have no complaints. I've been house shopping with a coworker of mine. So I don't know if I'm ready to buy a house yet. I probably need to save a little bit more money. But I've been one of my coworkers has house shopping. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been going on lunch breaks here or there, and we've been looking at some houses, and we looked at some really nice brand new houses that we could he could get or I could get, and it really made me think about just buying something brand new. Fairly affordable, but they were beautiful. So the cracked out shack houses I was looking at. Life is good though, man. I for those of you who don't know, I also gave up caffeine for the most part and energy drinks. It's been a little over 2 weeks. Um, it's a very strange thing. It's been so long since I haven't. So I drink a little bit of green tea at work, like 2 or 3 cups a day of green tea, but there's very little compared to coffee, energy drinks, black tea. There's very little tea. Um, in or very little caffeine in green tea, and so first week was rough. The Yeah, the first week was real rough. So um and I felt slower. I felt like I wasn't moving as fast, and I felt a lot less jittery. Um so but now I feel all right. I feel like I'm back in normal. uh our houses in the Tampa St. Pete area priced at a good value. They're up in value from what they were before. Like but like this was in the Palmetto Bradenton area, which is basically 20 minutes from St. Pete, maybe 30 minutes from St. Pete because you have to go across a big bridge. And the houses we were looking at were like 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and these are brand new, by the way, fully renovated, or fully, brand new granite countertops, backyards, and they were about $250,000, and they're brand new. They come with a den and a flex room, and so and they were about 2,100 square feet. Some of them were like 1,800 square feet. And then if you went up to like 300,000, you're getting like a 2-story house with like a loft up above, and it's like a 4 bedroom, 3 bath. And so in terms of my view, they were excellent prices, but I'm from California where shit's fucked up. And so like you go to California, I get emails from an old job I worked in the South Bay in Southern California, and there'll be houses built 100 years ago, and they spent 20 grand or by the way, I'm not exaggerating when I say 100 years ago. Literally, I saw a house maybe 6 months back that was built in 1920, and they had renovated it. It was 700 square feet, and they were asking $850,000, and they'll probably sell it. They will probably sell it. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and immediately how do we hide this guy? We'll just put that guy blocked. That's inappropriate. Um so um how am I coping with your diet? I try to let April do the shopping and cook at home and not worry about it. And so basically just for breakfast I have juice, and I'm trying to eat healthier on my lunch breaks, but um It hasn't been going too well. My diet needs to get better. Can you give us links where you can buy some things from your setup? I'll do a setup video one day, or a setup a lot. So one thing I need to do is like make a affiliate page on my website and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll do something like that in the near future. Have I tried out GraphQL? I have not. I'm a big fan of it in theory. I just haven't used it. Um, what if someone asks how you're doing? You completely broke down, crying and telling your woes to the camera, letting them know how you really feel. There's a time where, I mean, there was a time where, as a young man, I would hold back crying quite well. As an adult, I probably would just cry. I probably would excuse myself, cry. I can't imagine I would ever be in such a fragile state that that aren't I eliminating the word try? I see. I need to. Yes, I have for not doing my exercises. I've set a very bare bones minimum exercise routine, and I am increasing it every 21 days or so. And it's been helping so far, slow and steady. And I need to do the same for my diet. So you're right. So it is absolutely true, Michael Dunn. Thank you for holding me accountable. Um, Have I considered buying investment properties first? Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things is the houses that we're looking at, they're brand new construction for him, not necessarily what I was looking for. I'm more so looking for like duplexes, old maybe apartments. The problem is a lot of these I've looked at houses in the same range, the 200 to 250,000, and it's it's um it's one of those things where there's a lot of people who are just sort of out of their like there's a lot of houses that aren't going to sell on the market. It's so strange looking at a house that's 250 that's a mile this way, 250 a mile that way, same neighborhood, but two different people that are completely out of their mind. They don't really want to sell their house. Is how I've kind of, and it's the same thing with a lot of these duplex and houses with back houses stuff. So yes, that is a direction that I will be going. I'm also not actively looking. I'm kind of just going to see what he's looking at, and so kind of base it off and see what I'm going. But yeah. So if I broke down crying in a video, I don't know. I can't imagine. So here's the thing. There's nothing in my life that could really happen. Um, that other than like a loss of a loved one that would probably put me in that state. If I lost my job, I'd be fine. If my job started treating me like shit, I'd just leave and get a new job. If April left me, that would be surprising. That would be very, very surprising out of the blue. Um, that might do it though. That might do it. I think at first though, what you would get is anger before you get the sadness. That's what I think it would be. Um, I would tell you though. I mean, I've had videos on here. I've had live streams on here where I've been open, like, hey man, I'm not something's not right in my life. I'm not feeling right. I'm a little depressed. I've been very open about it. And, this is what, and the reason I share those things is not, partly to get off my chest, feel better. Another part of it is to say, hey, how, how can we, you know, how can we being people who are in the same situation, not feel this way anymore because it sucks. So, um, I was sharing that so I could share my attempted solutions and what I'm going to do different and what I'm going to do better. Um, should I worry about fave icons for making a website? Yeah. I mean, it's not that big of a task for you. You go and you go and you get a fave icon. There's little converters online. They'll do it for you. Yeah, that's the thing that worries me. I'm always so like I went to GameStop yesterday. I never go to GameStop. We were in the area, and I like this Nintendo 64 shirt, and I saw it, and there's a guy there working behind the counter. He's just talking up with nice guy. He's just talking up with one of the guests, and and he had mentioned his daughter, and I was just thinking, like, God, man, working at game like right now, the economy is great by most people's standards, and it's just like working at GameStop with children. That's got to be rough, like that's got to be a bit of a grind, and like I don't know, I it's just what if someone steals your fave icon? You don't worry about it. But yeah, it was just something like I don't know, man. Where you're like, how did you? And it's not that uncommon either. Where how do you, when you're making a minimum wage job, go and have children? How do you do that? Just no fucks given, and you just don't pull out. I mean, I guess that's how you do it. But I guess how do you put yourself in that situation where now it's going to be that much harder for you to get your life together because now you have another life involved, and it's so strange to me. But also people have different values, and um, you know, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too judgmental. It's just a fair statement. Find a job, start a firm, work for a startup, work as a freelancer. Um, I would say you could work as a freelancer and find a job starting, and then you can do all of those. Find a job, or so I personally working for a startup and starting a firm are two things that are going to be you're going to need a little bit of experience for most of the time. If you're not making good money, don't have kids. See, I don't say that necessarily, but I don't know. Like, what's the rush, man? Like, I could have kids right now and be fine. But if you had asked me 5 years ago when I was a college student sleeping on couches and going hungry, I probably wasn't the best candidate to have kids. For some people, having kids makes them get things together. I can understand that. I would hope so. Um, but I would say that's the Michael. I would say that's probably the exception to the norm. Um, I've seen way more people not have their shit together that have kids than do. Um, but I don't think that's any probably percent wise. I don't think that's any different than people who don't have children, don't have their shit together as well. Children are worth it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Objectively, they are not. Objectively, as someone who doesn't have children, but fully understands the responsibility of having children in terms of time commitment, lifestyle changes, financial commitment. Um, I just can't see it. But then again, I don't have children, so this is from a objective standpoint of someone who's never had children and never liked children. I don't like being around children. I don't like little kids. Uh, and I never have. Objectively, girlfriend and wives aren't worth it either. I I could see the wife aspect. I guess I could see the marriage aspect where now you're putting yourself in a financial situation, which is why you have to get a prenup. Um, but I could disagree, no, because a girlfriend, unlike a girlfriend or wife, when it comes to children, You can't ditch your children. At least I mean, legally you can't. You can ditch your girlfriend or wife if and boyfriend or husband as well. This isn't a one sided thing. You could, you know, it is one of those things where things aren't working. You can cut ties. It is a partnership there. When you have a girlfriend and you have a wife or a boyfriend and a husband, it is a partnership. Both people are bringing something to the table. Children don't bring shit to the table for like 30 years. At least. But yeah, we're getting off topic. I don't want to make people feel bad about their children. That's not what this is about. This is just my own objective opinion on children. um, I'm a newcomer into programming. I often feel overwhelmed. Does this feeling ever go away? Yes, slowly, believe it or not. Um, do most coders feel like they're struggling to have constantly learning new things? It's a process. Devron Tumbaco. It's quite the name. Yeah, it's completely normal. And there's also a thing when you first get your first dev job called imposter syndrome, where you kind of feel like um you snuck in the back door and everyone's gonna discover that you're not a real developer and things like that, and that happens. But yeah, don't be worried if you're getting frustrated, you're getting overwhelmed. It's the standard, it's the norm. You're not an outlier. And even working as a developer last 2 years, I still feel frustrated at times and overwhelmed. But yeah. Angular 6 was released. That is true. That is true indeed. So my understanding, no big changes. The only big update was that RxJS moved to 6, which may have some groundbreaking changes. I haven't had a chance to deep dive into it quite yet, but for what I've been reading, it is been a smooth transition. They do their best not to have breaking changes. How do I find a mentor? Well, this isn't like before the times when you have apprenticeships and things like that. You just have to start to find people. Part of part of this right here, you can consider this a little bit. I could be your mentor for an hour a week. Like, what I mean, every weekend I'm here, and that's part of the reason I do that. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone answering my questions. But we live in a great day and age in which there's 30 channels just like mine that are people who are doing live streams and they're answering questions, and they're providing videos that have topics that are going to be relevant to you, and you can start going to meetups and meeting people and learning from people and going from there. So you put yourself out there, you start going and start attending, you start watching videos, and you sort of get guided. The thing about there are no more mentors in the traditional sense. It just doesn't exist. So you have to sort of gather the knowledge from multiple data points and then extrapolate what you're trying to learn. That's really it. What are your thoughts on building custom WordPress themes and learning to code, meanwhile freelancing with WordPress to supplement your time and effort to be self-taught? I honestly just tell people stay away from WordPress in general. Some people disagree with this. I think you're just pigeonholing yourself a little bit, and your time's better spent doing other things. I understand you say freelance is the best option. Well, I said that you can do it while doing other things. I have to use the bathroom real quick, guys. What I think about self-learning, I think it's an excellent skill to have. It's what's made me so successful. If you don't understand a concept, um, if you don't understand a concept and can make it work, is it okay to move on and come back to it later? Yeah, I would encourage you to take breaks when you get stuck on things and move in different directions. But if you really are struggling with the concept, there's lots of videos, there's lots of resources. Don't just keep hammering away at it. Try to understand it in a different way. If you're reading documentation that's not working, go to videos. If videos aren't working, ask a friend, ask a code tech and caffeine group I have. Any coding group. So it all really just depends. I started my first dev job a couple weeks ago, and I'm finding it hard to keep coding and learning after work on weekdays every day. I feel super lazy. Any tips beyond just stop being lazy? I mean, not really, man. It really comes down to what's important to you. Uh, the thing is, and this is common, man. And I really tell people to try and make sure you're not one of these people, because it happens all the time where you go, you get your first job, and you lose the grind, man. You accomplish the first milestone, and that's why it's important to have different goals, right? Different milestones. So for me, I have a couple different ones, and I understand what it takes to get there. And honestly, if you've probably just reached a point where you're content, and it'll bite you in the ass one day, and then maybe you won't be lazy then. Um, but I mean, really, it's just find a way to keep it fun, I guess, would be the only real tip I could give you. That's what has made me successful in continuing to grind and grow and do everything. Is I do what I want so that I can continue learning while enjoying it, right? It could be from every morning I watch about a 30-minute conference talk to doing the YouTube channel to, building courses for Scrimba, building my own Udemy courses, doing some videos for the Free Code Camp YouTube channel. I try to keep it fun. If I don't like the content I'm making on my YouTube channel, I go and I Okay, I don't know what happened. If we had some technical difficulties, I should be back. Am I back? I don't know what happened. It crashed there for a second. Um, but yeah, you have to find a way to keep it fun. But on at the end of the day, there aren't any real tips and tricks. You just have to. It comes down to priorities. It really does. Is what's your priority? Is your priority to watch Netflix and play League of Legends after work? And that's fine. I have no issue with that. But when you're like, hey, how come I hear these devs are making, 50K more than me, and I'm stuck at a job and I'm trying to get a new job to get that higher salary, get a job bump, but I haven't been staying up to date on technology. I'm not as good as a developer because I'm just putting in the same amount of hours as the other 90%. I want to be in the top 10%. So to me, it's a combination of reevaluating priorities as well as keep finding a way to keep it fun. That's really all I can say about it. If you're not in school, not working, no responsibilities, could you get a job in a month if you go hard enough? For some clickbait videos on YouTube, they would tell you yes. I'm going to say probably no. Everyone goes at their different pace. Is it possible? I suppose. Is it likely? No. um, And you, in all honesty, you shouldn't even be thinking about it that way. You need to just be thinking like, I'm going to give it all my effort and it will happen eventually, and continue on. So where's Dolan hanging these days? Oh, who knows, man? Um, um, oh, but yeah, it's, I don't have any inspiration for Dolan videos right now. Dolan will come back in the future, just not right now. I don't know what to do with Dolan. Um, all right, guys. Any more questions? Is 30 still young? I mean, I'm 30. I mean, young compared to who? You ask a 12-year-old, they're gonna say you're old as shit. um, I mean, I like Windows. I've been using Windows. How to get the on click to display the array? You're gonna need to do some DOM manipulation. So you can do document in your paragraph, your div, wherever you want to display it, you're gonna give it an ID. So you'd say something like document.getElement by ID, and then you would set the inner text, unless you're gonna inject HTML, in which point you do inner HTML. But you set inner text equal to that array value on click, and that on click would target a function that would do that for you. That'd be how you do that. Yeah, so to Coding Connections, so I don't know Coding Connections personally, but I've seen his videos. He's probably in his 40s. That's probably long as shit. Well, you know, but again, a 10-year-old, I'm fucking ancient ass dirt. So now that you're no longer WGU, what are your long-term goals? So I have some short-term ones. So it's get healthier, get better. I'm working towards that. I'm doing that. The long-term ones are to grow the channel. I would like to get to 100,000 subscribers. The goal was by the end of this year. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. It might be a bit, maybe the next year or the year after that even. Coding Connections with $5 donation. Thanks for the help, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. That is $5 towards helping your boy buy a house. I appreciate that very much. So, I really don't think of my goals longer than five years. So the next 5 years, I want to have my YouTube channel continue to grow. I want to continue doing Udemy courses. I want to write a soft skills book similar in nature or in scope to the Complete Software Developer's Career Guide. I want to be a senior developer in title. I want to have released several web applications, buy a house, and an investment property. You know, there's a lot of things that I want to do. A lot of mine are setting me up for financial goals and financial freedom down the road. I want to continue. I want to start going to conferences and get some certifications and things like that on the side, as well as jump into a different direction towards the end of that 5 years. Maybe blockchain, maybe AI, maybe machine learning. It does. I'm not quite sure. I look high as fuck. I don't play around with that. anymore. No, no, I piss clean. Don't worry. VS Code plugins. I don't remember if I did a video, but I can do something. We can figure something out. Special stream when I get that silver play button. We'll have a guest appearance from Dolan. Yeah, that'd be a good thing. So next month, we will be hitting the 3-year mark of the channel, which is quite exciting. I'll every year I like to do an update, like, oh hey, this is who's watching the channel. This is how much I made. This is, how many videos I put out. Blah 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 blah. Now, almost 4 years later, I have 3 little kids. It's so hard to open the laptop at the evening and code, not because I don't want or love it, but because I'm mentally tired. I could see that. But Matan said, I found the middle ground by following a bunch of writers on Medium and reading a post or 2 at the evening. There you go. That's one way to continue growing and grinding. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate everyone for supporting the channel today. I know we had 2 people donate, and so thank you so much to those donations. They help, and they really are going to help buy a house. All that money goes directly into a different account, so I don't even know what is in it unless I go and look at it. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you next weekend. We'll do the same live stream AMA. You might see me a little bit here, a little bit there this weekend. If you guys don't know, sometimes I'll do I'll sneak in some live streams where I'm doing some algorithms, building some projects, and I delete them. So you might see some of those later on. I'm gonna go stretch. I am then going to start to code a little bit, something. We'll see. I'll see you guys next time.